Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I'm your boy Andy Finer and this is my Premier League predictions game week 37. I couldn't keep up with game week 35 and game week 36 because I had a lot going on and I couldn't make videos for these two game week. But well, I'm back again like I never left. This is my game week 37 predictions. If you're new and subscribed to the channel, my name is Andy Finer. My like target for this video is just 50 likes. Already we know Liverpool are champions, Leicester City, Southampton, and Ipswich Town are already relegated. Right now, we are fighting for the top 5 teams that are going to make it to the Champions League next season. And not wasting much of your time, let's get into the game week 37 predictions. Yes, so let's begin. Starting off the first game in game week 37 is coming on at the Villa Park. It's between Aston Villa versus Tottenham Hotspur. This game coming on is a very crucial game, and this game is going to decide if Aston Villa is still going to push and go ahead to get the last Champions League spot to either be 5th or 4th. I mean, it's possible they can even get a 4th position. Looking at the stand of Chelsea, Manchester City, and even Newcastle United. If Aston Villa get a win against Tottenham Hotspur, the possibility of them getting a Champions League spot is very high. Right now, Aston Villa is 6th, Chelsea is 5th with the same point, 63 points. But this game coming on in game 37, already we know this season for the Premier League, Tottenham Hotspur, almighty Tottenham Hotspur, finishing 17th at this point is bad. Well, they are performing in the Europa League and even they are going to the Europa League final with Manchester United. If Tottenham Hotspur get the win in the Europa final, means next season Tottenham Hotspur will be in the Champions League. And this season, this is crazy. Looking at the current form between Tottenham Hotspur and Manchester United, and these two teams, one is going to make it in the Champions League next season. This is unthinkable. But well, going into this game in game 37, Aston Villa hosting Tottenham Hotspur in game 37 at the Villa Park. I'm predicting this game to end in a draw. I'm predicting a 2-2 draw. Aston Villa 2, Tottenham Hotspur 2. Yes, moving on to another top game coming on in game 37 is between Chelsea versus Manchester United. This season, talking about Manchester United, it's a disgrace to know that Manchester United, almighty Manchester United, at the moment we have just 2 games to go and Manchester United is now 16th on the Premier League table. This is shocking. This is the worst it could ever get to. Come on, let this make sense. But well, Manchester United is performing in Europa. It shocks me the way United is able to win games in the Europa League, but when it comes to the Premier League, they keep on fumbling, they keep on losing points. In their recent game, their last game with 36 against West Ham United, that Manchester United lost 2-0 against West Ham at Old Trafford. Is shocking. But well, Chelsea too going into this game, this is a 3 points that really matters. If Chelsea is going to make it to the Champions League at the end of the season, this game against Manchester United, looking at Chelsea, they are now 5th on the Premier League table with the same points, 63 with Aston Villa and Chelsea. So if Chelsea is 5th because of goals difference between Chelsea and Aston Villa, but they have the same points with goals difference. So going into this game, Chelsea hosting Manchester United in Premier League game week 37, last but one fixture. I'm predicting this game to end in favor of Chelsea because even though Chelsea lost in their last game, which was against Newcastle United, I don't think Chelsea is going to allow Manchester United to get, because United don't really need a point, because if they win or lose, nothing is changing. Their position is still their position. And well, I'm predicting Chelsea to get a 2-1 victory over Manchester United. Chelsea 2, Manchester United 1. Moving on to the next game at the Goodison Park is between Everton versus Southampton. At the moment, looking at the Premier League table, it's shocking to know that even though Southampton have already been relegated, but to be frank with you, In their last game in the Premier League in game week 36 against Manchester City, I love the performance. I love how Southampton were able to hold Manchester City to a 0-0 draw in game week 36. I mean, this shows that they are going to come back. They are just going to play the championship, and next season they will be back in the Premier League. Because yesterday, I love the play. I love how Southampton were able to hold Manchester City, and they got some crucial chances that they could have earned all the 3 maximum points. But well, the game ended in a 0-0 draw, and I think they did really well. Everton too in their last game got a victory, and I think going into this game in game week 37, Everton hosting Southampton in game week 37, I'm predicting Everton to get a victory over Southampton. Everton 2, Southampton 1. Yes, moving on to the next game in game week 37 at the London Stadium is between West Ham United versus Nottingham Forest. To be frank with you, this is one of the crucial games and one of the most anticipated games, because this game could also decide the fate of some of the big clubs. Even though this season I was impressed with Nottingham Forest, the kind of performance they gave this season, I was really impressed. At the start of the season, nobody predicted that Nottingham Forest were going to be this so good. And well, to be frank, at this point, either they will get a Champions League spot or they will get an Europa League spot. It could even happen. Any of them can happen. But well, this game coming on at the London Stadium in game week 37, West Ham United, who in game week 36 got a 2-0 victory over Manchester United at the Old Trafford Stadium. I think this season, even though West Ham United, they've suffered, they've really struggled this season. But well, in their last game against United, I saw they play well and they got the 3 needed points. Even though their position on the league table is not that impressive, but well, going into this game against Nottingham Forest side, who is also 7th on the Premier League and pushing to be among the top 5, I think this is going to be a crucial game. Let's talk about Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest in the last game in the Premier League, they got a 2-2 draw against a Leicester City side who has already been relegated. I think in that game, Nottingham Forest conceded the first goal and they did a comeback. And later on, Leicester City also equalized, making 2-2. Nottingham Forest tried hard to get all the 3 maximum points against Leicester City. But well, at the end of the day, that game ended in a 2-2 draw. And going to this game at the London Stadium against West Ham United, I'm predicting this game to also end in a draw. I'm predicting a West Ham United 1, Nottingham Forest 1. Yes, moving on to the next game at the GTEC Community Stadium is between Brentford versus Fulham. These two teams so far this season have been that good. I mean, I'm not shocked with their position on the league table. I'm not shocked because looking at Brentford this season, they've gotten some kind of decent results. Mid-table position for Brentford, and Fulham is not that bad. So going into this game at the GTEC Community Stadium, I'm tipping whoever gets a good day is going to claim all the 3 maximum points. Their home ground has been like a fortress for them. At the GTEC Community Stadium against Fulham, I'm predicting this game to end in 2-1 in favor of Brentford. Brentford 2, Fulham 1. Moving on to another interesting game coming on in game 37 at the King Power Stadium is between Leicester City versus Ipswich Town. Two teams who has already been relegated to the championship. Next season, this fixture is going to be a championship game. And going to this game in game 37 at the King Power Stadium, in game 36, Leicester City got an impressive 2-2 draw against Nottingham Forest. And going into this game against Ipswich Town at the King Power Stadium, I'm tipping Leicester City to get a victory over Ipswich Town. Looking at both teams, they all have 22 points out of the 36 games that has already been played. So going into this game, I'm tipping Leicester City to finish above Ipswich Town. My prediction is Leicester City 1, Ipswich Town 0. Oh yes, moving on to the next game at the Emirates Stadium is between Arsenal versus Newcastle United. Interestingly, Arsenal so far this season, I mean, Despite looking at all the teams around Arsenal, the top 6 clubs like Manchester United, Tottenham, Hotspur, Liverpool, Manchester City, and even Chelsea, all these teams at the end of the season, it seems they have something that they are fighting for. But with Arsenal, the kind of performance that throughout the entire season they've shown, still Arsenal is going trophyless. There's nothing to show off, and Arsenal finishing second will always be like always the same thing. They will play good football, by the end of the season they have nothing to show off. I mean, this is so sad. But Arsenal going into this game against Newcastle United, who so far this season they won the League Cup. So Newcastle United so far this season they have a trophy to show for their good performance, and this season Newcastle has been very good. And going to this game against Arsenal, I think this is going to be an interesting game, because this game will also make a statement if Newcastle is going to get a Champions League spot. At this point, it's very crucial, it's very significant. Any minute, any second, anything about this game matters to all the teams that are fighting for the Champions League spot. So I think I'm predicting Arsenal to get a victory. But to be frank with you, Arsenal in their last game in game 36 against Liverpool, which ended in a 2-2 draw, I think Arsenal really did well, because at the first half Arsenal conceded 2 early goals, and later on they did a comeback. But Mikel Merino, who got the equalizer, later on got a red card and he was sent off from that game against Liverpool. And I think Arsenal really performed in that game against Liverpool. Going into this game in game 37 against Newcastle United, who is also pushing for Champions League spot, I think this is an interesting game, and I'm predicting Arsenal to get a 3-1 victory over Newcastle United. Arsenal 3, Newcastle United 1. Oh yes, moving on to the next game at the American Express Stadium, or the Amex Stadium, is between Brighton versus Liverpool, the league champions. Liverpool going to this game are coming from a 2-2 draw that I already said. In their game against Aston, they did well. Arsenal really did well, impressed me. Even though so far Arsenal this season with their good performance, they still have nothing to show. Liverpool are already champions. They've won the Premier League this season, and I think in this game against Brighton, it's just like a charity game. Both teams don't need a point for anything. Even Brighton may be pushing to get Europa League or even Conference League spot, but I think with Brighton, I don't think it's so necessary for them to even get the European spot. We know Brighton is always a mid-table club, and they will always like to remain at the mid-table and just enjoy their game in the Premier League. That's it. So Liverpool going into this game at the Amex Stadium. I'll not be shocked if Liverpool lose this game, but well, for the benefit of the doubt, I'm predicting a 2-2 draw. Brighton 2, Liverpool 2. Moving on to the next game at the Selhurst Park is between Crystal Palace versus Wolves. This is going to be an interesting game. So far, getting to the latter stage of the season, Crystal Palace really impressed me with the kind of performance and the results that they've gotten in the latter stage of the season. They didn't begin the season well, but well, I'm impressed with how they are finishing. And in this game against Wolves, who also is fighting to get a mid-table position, this game is like a charity game, but well, this game is not that important, but well, for the benefit of the doubt and for them to finish the entire season, I think this game is going to end in favor of Crystal Palace, even though Wolves are very good. And I think one player that this season he has really impressed everybody is Matheus Cunha. Come on, this guy, I know by now all the big clubs like Chelsea, Arsenal and Manchester United, and even Liverpool and Manchester City are all eyeing this guy, Matheus Cunha. I think one of the big teams will just snatch him from Wolves. So I'm not sure next season Matheus Cunha will still be at Wolves. And this game at the Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace hosting Wolves. I'm predicting this game to end in favor of Crystal Palace. My prediction is Crystal Palace 2, Wolves 1. Yes, and moving on to the last and one of the most important fixture coming on in game week 37 is between Manchester City versus AFC Bournemouth. This game coming on in game week 37 is going to be one of the most interesting, because if Manchester City won their last game against Southampton, this game could have not be that important, but well, because they drew that game 0-0 against Southampton, this has put their faith of getting a Champions League spot in a dangerous position. Manchester City going into this game at the Etihad against AFC Bournemouth side, who this season they have also tried. The first leg of this fixture, Bournemouth got a victory over Manchester City, and if they get another victory over Manchester City, means this season they've done back-to-back against Pep Guardiola's side, Manchester City, and this is going to be very interesting. Going into this game at the Etihad in game week 37, I'm predicting this game to end in a 2-2 draw. Manchester City 2, AFC Bournemouth 2. Yes, so this has been my predictions for Premier League game week 37. My name is Andy Fine. My like target for this video is just 50 likes. Comment your thoughts, like and subscribe. Till we meet in another video. Bye bye for now.